Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining another episode of First Fridays with Urban Farms. I'm Mike Hollis, the Urban Farms Director at Services for the Underserved. And in case you're not familiar with First Fridays, this is our monthly live broadcast where we showcase the work and the people of the SUS Urban Farms Initiative. So we are broadcasting live, which means that if we hit any technical snags, please bear with us as we get things back on track. But it also means you are invited to interact with us throughout the episode. If you're signed into YouTube, feel free to ask questions, give feedback. As you can see, Jessica down there and Adina are giving some shout outs. Feel free to use that live chat feature to comment and ask questions throughout the show. So, just kind of jumping right into things. For our first segment, we are going into the kitchen with Rhonda Bell, an SUS urban farmer with some incredible culinary skills. Maybe you're looking for a Super Bowl Sunday dinner recipe, or perhaps you want to try a new winter dish to make this February. In today's 5-minute workshop, Rhonda is going to show us how to incorporate some leftover vegetables and sweet potatoes from her garden into a hearty turkey casserole.
I'm going to add these sweet potatoes to this pot. Then I'm going to add water to cover the sweet potatoes, and I'm going to put them on to boil. Once they boil, I will be peeling them and add the ingredients to them and stick them in the oven. So we'll take it one step at a time. We're going to boil them first. Using the leftovers from last week's menu. Last week we made stuffed peppers. So we'll be using the rest of the ingredients, which is mixed vegetables and ground turkey and the mozzarella cheese. What we're going to do now is we're going to mix the ground turkey into this pan and let it marinate. And then we're going to mix the vegetables in it. And then after that, we'll take what's left of the sweet potatoes and mix it in it, and it's going to be a skillet ground beef vegetable medley together, and with the mozzarella cheese sprinkled on the top. Okay, see if they're done. Oh, they look like they're done. Well, let's go rinse them off with some cold water. Let's take them over here, turn the fire off. Take them over here to some cold water. Pour this water on. Want some cold water. And we're going to add this ground turkey. Here is the seasoning. The seasoning consists of my mix, which I'm not going to tell you my ingredients. This is my special herbs and seasoning. My secret. Now we're going to incorporate the vegetables into the ground turkey. Okay, now we're going to the sweet potatoes. What we're doing now is they're very easy to peel. The skin comes right off. Now I'm incorporating the sweet potatoes into the meat and the vegetables. I'm going to mix it together. Then I'm going to add some mozzarella cheese. Into the oven for at least 10 to 15 minutes, and then we'll take them out and we'll see how scrumptious they are. Now we'll be taking these things out the oven and seeing what beautiful things we've created. Look at this gorgeous dish we've made. This is ground turkey, mixed vegetables, and sweet potato.
Thank you, Rhonda, for sharing that dish with us. If you have a keen eye, you may have noticed that Rhonda was making a second recipe with sweet potatoes in the background. You can actually find her extended video up on our YouTube channel that includes an ingredient list for the turkey casserole and a walkthrough for a candied yam casserole that she recommends as a delicious combination. So with all that talk about food around lunchtime, I think it's a good moment to recognize the importance of our food choices for our personal health and well-being as we celebrate Heart Health Month throughout the month of February. The American Heart Association has all sorts of recommendations for celebrating heart health, whether you're making a commitment this month to quit smoking, exercising more often, or even wearing red to spread the word about heart-healthy choices. And actually, to talk more about promoting our personal heart health, I am excited to be joined today by urban farmer Valerie Standback. Hello, Valerie. How are you?
I'm fine, Mike.
So we just saw together that amazing cooking video from Rhonda, but I know that you've also been cooking some amazing dishes lately. Yeah, I know we were talking about your breakfast just a little bit earlier. Could you tell folks about some of the healthy foods that you've been making in your kitchen?
Oh, I've been making fish. I be stuffing the fish in the oven, and then I make fish soup with different kind of vegetables.
Tell me about that fish soup, because yeah, that's one that I know we've talked about before. What vegetables do you make that with?
Okay, it's mixed vegetables, right? Mixed vegetables. It's broccoli. It's all different kinds. It got mushrooms in it. It got corn in it, but the corn I don't eat. I take it out. I don't like
corn. But you put the corn in anyways because you know it's a healthy ingredient.
Yeah, but corn is a starch vegetable. That's why.
That's true. Yep. And you just actually got a shout out from Jessica. She says hello from the central office.
Yeah, I said hi.
Absolutely. Now, you also mentioned breakfast this morning, and it sounded like an absolutely delicious dish you put together. You want to tell folks about that?
Okay, this morning I had like an omelet with green peppers and onions. First I cooked the onions first, and then I put the egg in. I made an egg white. Yep.
Yeah, it kind of taking that yolk out to just preserve the egg white for the omelet.
Yeah.
Very nice. So I know that over the last year, you've also been making a pretty strong commitment to exercising. Can you tell us a little bit about your exercise journey?
Me eat more vegetables and salad.
Yep.
That's healthy.
Yeah. And you've been doing a decent amount of walking too, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Excellent. Yeah. Are you enjoying that? Or is it?
Yeah.
Yep. Nice. Any other tips that you would have for folks that you would recommend to them in staying healthy?
Okay, you can have salad, or you can make a pot of vegetable soup. Put it on the stove. Whatever you want, make with it. It's up to you how you want to do it.
Vegetable soup is absolutely delicious this time of year for sure. Yeah, this is some really nice weather for vegetable soup this week.
Yeah, because when the cold, Mike, when it's cold, people be like cold, and this a flu season.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, and Julio from Human Resources is saying fish soup sounds really good. So he's liking the idea of that recipe that you're making.
Yeah. And it's good too.
Nice. Yep. Now, when you're making recipes, are you making them from yourself? Or are you sharing them with other folks at your residence?
Sometimes I make it for them because I don't eat meat, so
okay. Yep.
I make it for them. Like if they want chicken, like 3 days ago I made my mom made some soup.
Yep.
So I sell chicken cutlet with it.
Very nice. Yep. And then Wilfredo gives you a shout out. He hopes that you're doing well and hopes that you and he can do some cooking this season as well.
Yes. I'm a mom.
Very nice.
And real quick, I like how he be making stuff too.
Yep, very much so. Yeah, I know some of our earlier First Fridays definitely featured some of Wilfredo and Maria's culinary skills because they definitely have quite a bit going on in their kitchen as well. Well, well, thank you, Valerie, for sharing that all with us. Definitely hope that can inspire some of our viewers in beginning or continuing their own personal health journeys this month for American Heart Month. And any other shout outs that you want to give before we sign you off?
No, tell everybody I should stay safe and have a blessed day. Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you so much, Valerie. Always a pleasure chatting.
Okay, Mike. All right. I'll talk to you later, Mike.
Absolutely. Yep.
My friends and my fans, come take care of yourself and have a blessed day.
I definitely will. Thank you, Valerie. So for today's final segment, we're actually heading into the garden with Dan Danza, our Urban Farms manager. This week is midwinter, the halfway point between the start of winter and the beginning of spring. And it's generally the coldest time of year for us in New York City. But although gardens in the city might be dormant, it's an excellent time to tackle some off-season pruning. So Dan will be taking us through the basics of pruning a fruit tree.
Hey everybody, this is Dan, Urban Farms Manager, and today we're going to talk a little bit about tree pruning, particularly of apple trees, which is our main fruit tree. Best time to do this is in the winter, anytime in the dormant season, but you want to do it after the fall, because if you do any cutting back in the fall, that might stimulate some new growth if you get warm weather, and that new growth might not have the chance to harden off before winter. And that could lead to frost damage, and wounds are also more vulnerable to disease during the growing season when it's warmer and more humid. So you want to do this in like January or February. Tools for the job: you want your pruners, your just typical shears, loppers for cutting larger branches, and if you need to do something high up, you might want a pole pruner, which is just a blade and a pruner attached to a long pole. And whenever you're doing any pruning, the main thing you want to look for is what we call the branch collar. It's a little hard to see, but it's that wrinkled part where a branch meets another branch or the trunk. I'll show you a larger one. So like even that wrinkled part there is called the branch collar. And when you make a cut, you don't want to ever cut into the branch collar. What that has is like a bunch of cells in it. And those cells will kind of regenerate and heal the wound, so you don't want to harm them. So you want to make a cut just above the point where the branch collar flares off, okay? Another thing you want to look for on apple trees is fruiting buds, and that's where the fruit forms, basically. Some of them also form flowers, and you don't want to remove too many of them. They're dark-colored, wrinkled wood that grows off of the main branches. So that looks like it might be a fruiting bud, for instance. On apple trees, they kind of come out in these little spurs, right? That right there. And the little smaller buds, like that one, are your vegetative buds. And those are where the leaves come out. So when you're pruning, you just want to make sure that you're not taking off too many of those fruiting buds. When you're starting to prune an apple tree, the first thing, anytime you prune anything really, is you want to remove dead and diseased branches first. I don't really see too many of those on here, but you want to kind of make your way up the tree and look at these scaffolding branches, which are these long branches that come out at like 45-50 degree angles. Those are the basic structure of your tree, and you want to cut essentially off of those. You want to cut competing branches off. Like anything that's growing inside toward the tree, you want to remove. You want to remove things that are rubbing other branches. things that are growing at strange angles, anywhere where water can collect. And the idea is to improve air circulation and light penetration on that tree. When you remove a branch or a limb, the bud under the cut is going to take over and grow, so you want to cut above outward facing buds because you want them to be growing out, not in. So what we're going to do now is just take a quick look at some cuts. This one is at a strange angle. It's growing inward toward the tree. So what you do, take your pruner, I'm not cutting all the way at the collar, I'm cutting slightly above it, and just clip it off. This one, right here, is rubbing. So same thing. There were a couple more, right, like this one right here, you can see is growing inward toward the tree. That's going to create some competition issues. So we're going to pop that one off, right? And we're just going to kind of go through and remove anything like that that's going to cause issues with competition or rubbing. And it's okay to cut a decent amount off. The old rule is you want to be able to throw a hat through the tree. But the basic idea is to just thin out the tree without removing too many fruiting buds in order to make sure that your light and air can circulate. And those are the basics. See you next time.
Thank you, Dan. And while Dan used the example of an apple tree, many of those same lessons can actually apply to any fruit tree. And if you're looking to get out into your own garden over the coming weeks, check out some of Dan's other videos on our YouTube channel, including some other tree and shrub pruning tutorials, and more information on what you can be doing to prepare your garden for spring. And of course, feel free to look through all of our YouTube videos, whether your interest is in winter gardening, garden cooking, indoor gardening, or more. Feel free to subscribe for notifications whenever a new video is posted. And also let us know if there's a topic you'd like the Urban Farms team to talk about in a future video. And of course, join us again each first Friday for our live broadcasts. So thank you all again for joining us today. Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Wilfredo. Thank you for all of our viewers. Stay warm out there, and we'll see you next time.